God. My house. Oh, MJ, it's over. It's over, MJ. Oh my God. She's dead. She's dead. Wait, what's happening to her?
Are you guys ready for 12 inches of venom? Because I know I am. But first, before we get into the figure himself, we gotta take a look at the packaging. Now, this is a pretty big figure, so I kind of had to modify my lighting situation and setup and everything. So it's gonna be a little bit goofy at the moment. But box pretty much the same as all the other Gamer Edition boxes and whatnot. Venom on the side there, and Spider-Man 2 logo. And then on the side here, you got some very nice Venom promotional art. Marvel Legends at the bottom, Gamerverse at the top. On the back, you got a very nice look at Venom there, as far as the promotional art goes. Now on the side, nothing too crazy, just a little look at Venom there. But yeah, huge, huge, huge ass box. But then, of course, here we have the Venom figure, and oh my god, he is fucking massive. But of course, we are going to take a look at details first. So, starting right up, he is a very nicely detailed figure. Um, there's really not a whole lot going on. Of course, this is a new body mold. I don't know how it wouldn't be a new body mold. Um, but he is just massive. Um, he's got pretty much all the articulation you would want out of any size of 6-inch figure, but at a huge scale. And honestly, he might even be close in scale, or at least up to the waist of the Marvel Legends Giant Man. To be honest, but you got this nice texturing all around. It's got this kind of slightly glossy, but also still matte finish for the black sections. But there is texturing on the joints too. I'm pretty sure, yeah, on the back of the joints too. So he looks pretty seamless. He is pinless too, which is very nice. I've handled this figure for a decent amount of time, and he feels phenomenal. Just moves super smoothly, super fluidly. Honestly, he's really great. Um, you do got this white painted spider logo, which is painted pretty well. I don't have really any issues. It does get a little fuzzy in certain areas, but other than that, it is painted pretty damn well. Now, am I personally a fan of this spider logo? Absolutely not. I actually really hate this style of spider logo, and I really wish it would fucking stop. Um, I honestly would have preferred, a more traditional Venom logo, because that's that's just what I like. And this Venom logo is the Gargan Venom logo, and I am sick of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing it. I wish it had a logo more like this, but we get what we get. It wasn't Eddie Brock Venom, so I guess we'll give it a pass. Hopefully, with the Venom game rumored, that we'll actually get the Eddie Brock Venom logo. But yeah, overall, I mean, it is a very nicely done figure. Very simple in terms of paint and everything, but the sculpt work really, really does make this figure pop. But unfortunately, he's a bit too much of a matte finish for me, and plus, I glossed up my black suit Spidey, so it's about time we gloss up him. And here we have the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Venom, all oiled up. And yeah, he looks like he just came back from a Diddy party. Um, but anyway, I did apply a gloss to him. I think I might need to start using a new gloss, because this happened with my black suit Spider-Man that I just recently did, and it's kind of becoming a problem and a reoccurring issue. Um, and I'll kind of go about that here. So I didn't change anything except I just applied a gloss, but for some reason there's like air pockets that form, so you can like kind of like see it a little bit. Let me just shut off this light real quick. You can semi see that kind of air pocket going on there. It's on the other fist too, in those like little like crevices and stuff. It tends to happen more in crevices and creases. It is kind of a bit of an annoyance, but I think he does look a lot better when he's all oiled up and everything. um, it just gives him more of that symbiotic feel, I guess. But yeah, not much custom work going on, and I did it to every part and piece of Venom here. So yeah, let's get into this figure a little bit more. Now that we've taken a look at the figure, let's take a look at his accessories. So as for fists, you do get these pair of fists straight out of the box. And as for other hands, you do get this very splayed out open kind of claw hand, and then you do get this grabbing hand. And as for heads, of course, you do get this closed mouth head here, which is pretty damn good. As you can see, if I move up close here, there is some shading work. I did not do that myself. It's a little bit hard to see now because I put the shine on it, but you can kind of see there is some slight shade work to it to make it feel a little bit more like the game. And then the final head that you do get is, of course, the open mouth head with the huge long tongue. And of course, I glossed that up too. You see, again, shading on the eyes a little bit there. But yeah, this is a very nice looking head sculpt. I really love it. And it does have its own accessory, as to which, so we're all bring in the you get this little kind of slimy, sludgy kind of saliva piece, which is pretty cool. And it has a use, which is pretty sick. So if I take it right here, you just kind of put it in between the tongue. Make sure that the longer part, uh, this part right here, that's shaped like that, goes on the bottom jaw, and then the top part goes on top, of course. But you just feed it through the tongue here. Let's make sure you feed it up, and then kind of put this lip in, and then just kind of shove it on in there. So you got it in there like that. And then there you go. You got the head pretty much completed with the slime and such, and he will be displayed like that. Because I absolutely fucking love that. So the final accessory he comes with is this symbiote tendril piece, and this had the same kind of like problems a little bit here and there with the gloss. I had to completely strip this part off because it just cracked off and everything. So I'm gonna have to figure out something, but he has this too as well, and I will show how this works and everything too here in a second. But we're gonna bring back in Venom here, get him to stand. He can actually hold other figures with these hands. So let me just bring in Black Cat with this open splayed hand. You can just kind of fit her in there. Let's just get her in there. So he can hold her. Of course, you're going to do a lot of balancing and whatnot to get it to really work. But he can hold her in that hand, and then of course coming with we'll bring in Black Suit Spidey with this other hand. We'll take Black Cat out just so he doesn't fall over. I just wanted to show that. And then of course with this one, you could probably put like a different Spider-Man, like Spider-Man's head in there, like so. Wants to get in. I know you can do it. And of course, all the stuff is just cracking on me. There you go. So you can have him hold Spidey. Well, he just kind of fell out, but you can do it. I will show it in the post test. Um, but yeah, now this hand started to crack open. So yeah, I need to like switch up what I'm doing as far as that stuff goes. But anyway, we're gonna take this hand out and show you how this accessory goes in. So there's just a peg on the inside there that will just shoot into the wrist here, and it's pretty much the same thing as far as any other accessory goes. Just shove it on in there, and it goes right on in. So there he has the symbiote effect and everything. And of course, this can hold characters too as well if you wanted to do that. You just put it through that little loop right there, and then yeah, there she is being held in the symbiote. So very very amazing accessories this Venom does come with. I love absolutely everything this Venom has to offer, even if my paint job's not really working. But yeah, as much as I like this figure, um, the characterization of this Venom fucking sucks. I hate this Venom so bad. It is probably one of, if not the worst Venom iterations I've seen in the past like 10 plus years. But hopefully the Insomniac Venom game has a better Venom. So aside from having some pretty dope ass accessories, how well does he articulate? So, getting to Venom's articulation here, he's a pretty big boy. He's huge. So as far as the head, hopefully it's in frame here. It is on a double ball joint or double ball peg belt, whatever. But it can go down about that far, up about that far. Do have some side to side, and the head does do a full 360. As far as the arms, they do have a butterfly joint that goes forward about that far, back a little bit. His arm, of course, can go up about that far, full 360, and then, bicep swivel right there. Double jointed pinless elbows that go past 90. Hinge and swivel at the wrist, of course. Classic Marvel Legends stuff going on here. And then he does have a torso diaphragm at the top, paired up with an ab crunch, so you can, get some side to side going on. You can do it all the way around, except mine's very tight, and I don't want them to break on me. Because Hasbro loves breaking their figures. But you can crunch forward about that far. Crunches back pretty decent. And as far as the legs go, they can split out about that far. Kicks forward about that far. Back, not so much. There's a thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knees that love to just get absolutely stiff and stuck on me. But yeah, over 90. And then of course a calf cut. The foot goes back about that far. Sorry, I'm like struggling. Oh my God. It goes forward about that far. And then, of course, you have your usual ankle pivots and a toe hinge. Yeah, that was a pain in the ass for no reason. His whole upper torso is pretty smooth, but from the waist down, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, let's do a pose test. And I hope you guys enjoyed that post test. Sorry there wasn't really a whole much I could do with Venom. He's just a bit too big to have hoisted up in the air. I don't have a figure stand that's that durable. Unless I use a Hot Toys stand, but that would just look a bit strange. But anyway, these are the picture. This is the picture edit that I did for him. So if you'd like to go check out my Instagram to see some of my other action figure pictures, or keep up to date on certain things happening around and whatnot, I mainly post on there. So go ahead and check that out if you want to. But now it's time we get into the scaling, because obviously he is huge, and I'm not sure if he's fully in the screen here. I hope he is, but yeah, he's a pretty big boy. So we're gonna start with just some of the other Gamerverse figures. So here he is next to Black Costume Spidey. And you can see just how much bigger he is. He's pretty much damn near about the size of a Hot Toys figure. So there you have him. And then, of course, Black Cat, too, as well. Black Cat won't really stand because her feet are too small. But those are the two Gamerverse figures next to him. Now we're going to do a bunch of different Venom comparisons. So getting to some of these Venom comparisons, I am going to do a couple extra Spider-Man comparisons first off. So here he is next to my Web of Shadows Spidey custom there. And then, just for the fun of it, of course, here he is next to the Walmart Animated Series Spidey. And then here he is next to the Maximum Spider-Man. Yeah, this is a pretty big Venom. Not a whole lot of different... He's not really going to scale well with too much because he's just so damn big. And can I just say that for a second? I fucking hate that they keep making Venom this like big monster. I'm so tired of it. I'm just honestly, this is gonna turn into me ranting, but honestly, fuck this kind of Venom. I'm tired of it. But what Venom I'm not tired of, and I actually want back, is this kind of Venom. Venom was never big just because he was a monster. The symbiote didn't make Eddie big, or didn't make any of its hosts big, and it shouldn't. Because here's Eddie Brock's, Todd McFarlane style Venom. Eddie Brock really was just that big. Sure, the symbiote enhanced his, powers and, his strength a little bit, maybe made him only ever so slightly bulky, but it didn't make him a fucking goddamn, like, Hulk-sized monster. Can we please bring this style of Venom back? This kind of Venom? Especially with this style of logo? I'm so tired of seeing that logo. I'm so tired of seeing Monster Venom. I'm just sick of it. I just want a normal, just cast an actor like Alan Richardson or somebody that has a beefier body style and everything. Just so that way we can get a much more just beefier Venom, but not monstrous. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. All right, ranting aside, in general, this is probably like the worst adaptation of Venom I think I've ever seen in my life. But I think I've pretty much talked enough about how much I hate it, and I'm pretty sure everyone else knows how much this kind of Venom just sucks anyway in general. So let's just move on. Here he is next to my Bagley style Venom, which uses the old Hyperion body mold, and then next up, trying to go in like a body order here. For the fun of it, I'll just put him next to my movie Venom that I made. So glad that third-party company's making a movie Venom figure, and I have it on pre-order. There's those two Venoms here, just for comparison. And then we'll bring in these two. So we got the new Capcom Venom, and we got the animated series Retro Card Venom. So yeah, there's how they look next to him. And then next up, here we have my Ultimate Spider-Man Custom Venom, which I might potentially change the head. Not too sure, but there he is next to my Ultimate Venom. And then just to kind of see, because this is a another monstrous type of Venom here. Except this was another one that was put on screen in some capacity. So here we have Tom Hardy's Venom. Now, I didn't have much of an issue with Tom Hardy's Venom, even though it still was that monstrous kind of Venom. It didn't go too crazy with it. Even though I still think he was a little bit crazy, but you know, compared to a Spider-Man character, like, I mean, my movie Venom's pretty much the same size as movie Toby, but see that I'm fine with. I'm fine with Tom Hardy's Venom because you know Tom Hardy's Venom was big, but he wasn't too crazy big. Um, he was, you know, I think he was just you know the right size for the most part. But this Insomniac Venom just it's just doing too much. Like just doing way too much to be too big and too monstrous, everything. And for the last comparison here, now I thought this specific iteration of Carnage was just too big and too monstrous. I thought Carnage should have been smaller, like he is in the comics. But yeah, I mean, the Sonic Venom's even bigger than movie Carnage, and that is just. And movie Carnage was already big enough. I mean, look at them both. Look at Tom Hardy next to both of them. Like, nothing makes any sense. You know, it's like these like studios and companies. They see a character like, oh, let's make him big and monstrous. Let's make everything not make any fucking sense, and then they do it. But yeah, I mean that is pretty much it for the scaling and everything. Sorry, most of it was pretty much just me ranting about this kind of Venom, but I just don't like this kind of Venom. But for this figure in general, I love this figure. I think this figure is amazing. It just sucks that the iteration of the specific Venom just really fucking sucks. But he did get a really good figure, so I do have to commend it for being a really nice figure. And of course, I'll say that in my final thoughts. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the scaling. So let's move on to those final thoughts.
So, on to the final thoughts. Venom will not be on the turntable because he is far too big for it. Overall, I really do love this figure. The joints move very smoothly. He looks really nice if you put a gloss top coat on him. Overall, he's painted pretty well. He poses very nicely. Not much really bad to say about this figure in general. I honestly think it's a really great figure. It's just a shame this specific iteration of Venom, it just kind of sucks. But, not just kind of sucks, it really sucks. But, at least this figure is just really nice. I honestly, I absolutely adore this figure. I'm glad I have it in my Venom collection. I really love that, saliva effect piece, but, nothing too crazy to really go off of for this figure. It really is just a really big Venom, but it's a nice Venom. And honestly, I think if you like Venom, you should honestly pick it up. But that is pretty much it for this review. Overall, I'd say it's a good solid, 9 out of 10. Could use some extra stuff, but I will see you guys in the next video.
I've heard it 1,000 times before, and it's just not that funny anymore.